Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome in to another edition of GC Live. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I'm your host, yours truly, Jack Veltri here, joined by my friend and co-host, former South Carolina right-handed pitcher, Ethan Carter. Ethan, I know this is different. I know it's a Saturday. Circumstances had to change this week. It has been, I'll get into it in a second, but how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I ain't the one that's had to drive the entire East Coast or the southeastern quarter of the United States.
Dude, it's been quite honestly, it's been nuts. So, for those unaware, I am in Gainesville right now. My week actually started out on Monday at Clemson. I went to go see my brother and sister who go to school out there and live there. I know. Come after me in the comments. I'm ready. And then Tuesday morning, got up, drove to Nashville, Tennessee for the SEC men's basketball tournament. I was there until Thursday morning. Got up, probably left around like 7 a.m. local time after getting like 4 hours of sleep. I went to Fort Mill to go see. I had a obligation to be at with my family. My sister was performing in her high school play, so I had to be there. Could not miss that, especially since she was one of the leads. So I had no choice on that one.
Nice.
Especially if South Carolina had won, I'd be in Nashville and then going straight to where I'm at now, which we'll get into in a second. But yes, I had to go back to Fort Mill on Thursday. And then I woke up Friday morning in Charlotte and drove 7 hours to Gainesville. I had to stop in Columbia, and then I made a few more stops along the way for gas and whatnot. And then, yeah, it's just, I got here probably in about an hour and a half before South Carolina played Florida yesterday. And, man, it has really been the longest week. I'm going to end up – my trip's not even close to over yet. I'm going to be in Gainesville till tomorrow, and then right afterwards I'm picking up and heading out to heading further south, and I'm going to Kissimmee for 2 days. I am giving myself a day and a half to just do whatever and just
there you go
recuperate because I need it. I can't go straight back to work after this, especially not with football starting back up. So I'm taking a leave of absence for just the day and a half. I need it mentally. This has been a long week, and I fear it's only going to get longer here with the next two baseball games coming up, which we are going to talk about. So this is why, all this to be said, this is exactly why there was no GC Live on Thursday. I know we got a few questions, but I know I did at least, got a few questions about that on the message boards, on Twitter, even on here. Jack, are you doing GC Live on Thursday? What's the plan? I truly did not know. And the only way we were going to do GC Live on Thursday was if basketball won on Wednesday, because that means I'd be set in stone one place on Thursday. But the schedule timing just did not work out. So this is our option instead. And honestly, I kind of like it because it's different. And we get to talk about what the heck happened last night, man, because, woo boy, we've got a lot to talk about from that game. So I think that covers everything. Let's get straight into the game real quick. So, yeah, in case you missed it, South Carolina lost 1-0 last night. Now, the way they lost 1-0 is the most jarring part. So, let me just tell you what Florida did, for instance. Okay, so Florida got 2 hits. They made more errors in this game than they had hits. They had 3 errors in this game in the field. They only had 2 hits, and their first hit didn't come until 2 outs in the 9th inning. If I told you all that, Ethan, South Carolina probably wins this game pretty handily, right? Especially against a Florida team that gave up a ton of runs to High Point last weekend. Do I have that right? South Carolina probably wins that game.
That's what I'm putting my money on. That's for sure. You give me all that. That's what I'm betting.
So, just like I said, South Carolina lost that game last night because the Gamecocks only had 1 hit last night. I mean, it was a great pitcher's duel. Don't get me wrong.
A 4th inning single by Talmadge LeCroy through the right side. That was their only hit last night.
It was remarkable how, look, South Carolina's had some real duds in terms of losses under Paul Mainieri. I feel like I see something new with this team every freaking week. Just being quite honest, man. I cannot remember a time where I've ever seen a team like I know in the MLB there's been some games where pitchers are taking a no hitter through like 8-9 innings, and then they lose the game because their offense stinks and the offense can't do anything. So that's happened before, right? But yeah, I've never seen South Carolina in my time on this beat lose a game like that last night, where you have a freaking no hitter going with 2 outs in the ninth, and you don't have anything to show for it because your offense didn't get anything going runs wise. And let's give a lot of credit to Florida. Florida got I thought Florida's pitching was not going to be that great. I know Liam Peterson's a good pitcher, but I didn't know anything about their bullpen. They got some dudes in that bullpen, man. Like, it must be nice to bring in guys who are just pumping 100 miles an hour, it feels like, 99, 98, consistently, like one after the other. Like, Kevin O'Sullivan's got a freaking nice toy box there to work with, man. It's crazy. So, I mean, you could speak to it. I mean, those guys at the plate, I mean, that's even Josh Gunther, who we'll get to plenty about in a minute. He was saying to us last night, like, yeah, that's the hardest pitching that we faced all year. So that's tough, man.
I mean, you know, we were texting about it a little bit after the game. I generally try to let Jack do his job during most of these games.
Don't worry. You know, we have a good enough relationship to be texting during the game. I am. You have the green light. Green light to text me anytime you want during the game.
but we do text during the games from time to time, and then last night we were texting probably a good hour after the game last night. And yeah, I mean that's that Florida staff, man. I mean, Liam Peterson, it's not even the velo from Liam Peterson. Like, you see why he's, you know, I think on big boards he's like, you know, a top 10, you know, possible top 10 draft pick for this upcoming year. I mean, he was 97 to 99. Pretty good breaking stuff, but the big curveball and a tight slider, and his changeup, which I think he pulled that out of the toolbox about the 4th inning to strike out Ethan Lozama, I think, one time, or at least get a swing and miss. I mean, he was just fantastic last night. Then they bring in Barberry, who was pumping 98, 99. Didn't have much after that, but, you know, he was in there just pumping. And then I forget the lefty that they brought in, but
yeah, this guy's got a weird name. I can't find his first name on here, but it's Lugo Chenchola. So he only faced one batter last night.
Yeah, I mean, he came in to get Tyler Bach, who hit a missile. And that's something we're going to talk about here a little bit is the offense. But yeah, I mean, and then Wrightsworth, or however it's spelled weird. The broadcast said it, and I was like, that ain't how that's spelled.
I think it's Rittenauer.
Rittenauer, that's right. You're right. You're right.
God, that dude's good, man. That dude is. And another guy pumped 98. It's
98. He hit 100. He did hit 100 on the TV broadcast.
It's crazy.
And yeah, it was, you know, and all that to be said, then this is what I was texting with you last night. I thought this is the best approach the offense has had most of the year, especially, given the pitching. They hit the ball hard. Bo Hollins got robbed of a double there in the 2nd or 3rd inning. KJ Scobie hit a ball that came off the bat at, I believe, 100. The broadcast had Liam Peterson fastball at 96, and then when it turned around, it had 100 miles an hour by the time the second baseman got the ball. So KJ Scobie hit a one hopper, 100 miles an hour. Dawson Harmon, if that ball gets through, that ball is hit hard. Bach hit a ball.
The one in the 9th inning, right?
Yes, yeah, because he struck out the other 3 times. He made no contact the other 3 at bats.
And even Lozama almost. And the other thing about last night, the wind was also blowing. Like that. I mean, there was the one ball that Lozama hit, the one ball to right field that looked like, I thought that was going to be a 2-run homer. But also Lozama made a great play in the outfield on a terrible route first off, but it looked like it was just going to be a bomb into the bullpen off the bat. But I mean, he made a great catch. So the wind was a factor last night, but this also was the best pitching staff velocity-wise that South Carolina's faced all year. And look, I think it helped, honestly. I know they only had one hit, but I think you are right about the approach actually being good. And to everyone just saying, fire Monty, I've seen so much of that after last night.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, yes, they struck out 15 times, but like they also hit a lot of balls in play. And half those, like a third of those strikeouts came against Liam Peterson. Well, actually, half of those strikeouts came against Liam Peterson. Yeah. But a lot of them came the first time through the order. So I think once you got settled in, you saw his stuff a little bit more. They were putting the ball more in play. And they were hitting it hard. It just wasn't finding holes. So, I mean, you can't really blame Monty or the approach or whatever. And honestly, how much of this really is Monty's approach anyway? I feel like this is mostly Paul, but don't let me tell you that.
There were some head scratching decisions based on, as you said, the wind blowing in last night. There were some more head scratching coaching decisions that came about last night. But yeah, for the offensive stuff, I think I tweeted out last night after the game that these are games you have to find a way to win, and you do. It's just your pitchers take a no-hitter through 8 2/3. You've got to find a way to win that game. But I hope the offense. I hope some of the guys on the offense can build off last night's approach and performance. Because again, one hit. It's crazy to say that with one hit, but again, with that being the best pitching they've seen all year, I think by far. No discount to Clemson staff. I think they're gonna be in the top half of the ACC this year. But I mean, again, other than the lefty that came in, every single guy sat 97. Peterson and Rittenhouse, had pretty good breaking. Peterson was incredible, but it's unfortunate that those guys couldn't find a way to win, because I feel like that really could have propelled them to hopefully go on a run here. Now they're going to be fighting their butts off to not get swept this weekend.
Yeah, and they're facing good pitcher today. We'll get into the rest of the series in a little bit, but facing a guy that doesn't have an ERA through 17 and a third innings. So good luck tonight. You had to win that game last night. We'll talk about the pitching in a moment, but there's one other thing I want to talk about with the offense. You give up only 2 hits last night, and again, Florida made 3 errors in the field. Their defense is atrocious.
Yes.
The other problem about last night, you did walk 8 guys. You had 2 hit by pitches. You struck out 8 as a pitching staff. I promise we're getting to the pitching staff in a second, because that is what the highlight of the night was. But the situation I want to talk about is the one that's got everyone barking out here. KJ Scobie last night in the 9th inning with the biggest spot of the game for sure that eventually came. Will Craddock gets plunked for the first pitch, 0-0, and then KJ gets ahead 3-0. The Rittenhour guy really did not have – as hard as he threw, that's the other thing. You can have all this velocity. You got to know where your pitches are going. He had
stretches. Yeah, he had stretches where he just couldn't find the zone.
Like half of his pitches were balls last night. He threw 44 pitches, 21 strikes. So I mean, look, this guy's got good velo, and that's tough to hit. But I think South Carolina also helped him out a lot, which leads me to the point. So KJ's up, runner on first, nobody out. He gets ahead 3-0 in a count. Now, this is where it becomes interesting. Do you give him the green light there? Because the guy has no command. But here's the thing. I'm sure in that situation, knowing it's KJ up and you're facing the heart of this order, not that that's super intimidating for a guy like this throwing this hard when he's had success all night, you're probably throwing a get-me-over fastball. Now, Paul Maneri gave him the green light and expected – it was a little bit of a crazy quote, but he felt that, quote, I just felt that our best chance to score was let KJ swing and try to hit one out or hit one in the gap. Obviously, the hitters after KJ hadn't done much all night, and we had a lot of strikeouts. He's your guy. He's your cleanup hitter. He's your power hitter. He was going to get a cripple pitch. So he swung.
I just don't agree. In that situation, I do not agree. And I have a much respect for KJ Scobie as that. I think he is our best player. Yeah. He is a 19-year-old sophomore who, as good as he's been, has been an above average SEC baseball player. He is not Charlie Condon from years past with Florida. He is not Ethan Petrie. He's not these guys yet. And I'm not saying he's not going to get there. But 3-0 in a situation where you could get the winning run to second base with no outs. There's no. And refresh me, Jack. I'm sorry. Was that was the top of the ninth, correct?
So this was the top of the ninth. We're going to get into the rest of the situation.
Okay, top of the ninth. And you just saw the guy from Florida. And to go back to his quote, you just saw the guy from Florida put the best swing of the night anybody's put on, and it got to the warning track. Like, it wouldn't have gotten off the fence. Like, Lozama ran into the fence. Yeah. The best swing anybody's made all night. Guy who has 9 home runs on the year for Florida. Our leader has 5, who we took out of the game, by the way, which also is insane. I do want to talk about that too. But guy, 9 home runs, crushed the ball, got to the warning track, and we're talking about he might get one here. What are we talking about? I think the world of KJ. I think he's going to be a fantastic ball player. I think he's going to play at the next level. But that is the furthest thing that should have been happening right there. Just without a doubt. There are going to be people that disagree, and that is fine. That guy didn't sniff the zone. And honestly, he didn't sniff the zone until about the 5th pitch against Lozama, because he swung out a slider that wasn't even close. He threw 7 pitches that were out. His first 7 pitches were out of the zone start that inning. Yeah. And he got an out and got to 2 strikes. Like, that is just bad coaching. That is bad coaching.
Yeah.
Full stop.
So as you kind of were ranting about there, KJ ended up popping out to shortstop on that 3-0 pitch. I think it's because runs do come at such a premium at that point. Like, 1 run there for South Carolina with the way your pitching stat. That's the other thing, man. If the pitching was not having a good night, then yeah, I don't blame KJ for swinging 3-0. I don't blame Paul for that. But that's not the situation last night. You were locked in a 0-0 game where your pitching staff was just so freaking good. Like you wasted your 3 best pitchers last night, and you didn't win the game when they didn't give. They gave 1 run. They gave up 1 run, and it wasn't even in 9 innings. It was in the 10th. Nope. So,
and honestly, I'll say this: the only reason that really happened is because the leadoff guy got on, and they just kind of gave them bases because they wanted to keep getting the double play in order.
Yeah. Like, they did not play. They did not play for the bunt there. They did not.
No, if this was something that was like earlier in the game, I don't think Florida scores there because, like I said, we just kept trying to keep the double play in order.
And they had 2 intentional walks. So, we're gonna get into the bottom of the 10th in a minute because that's with how the run scored. That's another big issue. There's a lot to break down from this game. For a 1-0 game. I mean, there's a lot that happened in this game.
But to your point about the situation, like, if this is prior to the 7th inning, let him swing. Yeah, of course, 3-0. You're hoping to get something going.
But you haven't scored yet. You're facing a guy that you have not hit all night. Florida's bullpen did not allow a hit last night. That's the other thing. And the other thing about this is Craddock. Okay, Craddock eventually got to second anyway on a pass ball. But it was with 1 out, and then Lozama flies out, and it's like, okay, shoot, you have 2 outs now with runner on second, and then you get the 2 walks, and then Harmon, hits that ground ball to second on the one that goes off the mound. But it all stems from this KJ at bat, because I think you're feeling differently if, and honestly, let's say this is how the situation plays out. Let's say he gets it to 3-1 and then he takes a walk. You have runners on first and second with no outs. And then let's say there's that pass ball in the dirt. I'm guessing Craddock and Scobie are probably going, to third. And honestly, if you get 2 guys on there, I don't care if Ethan Lozama is supposed to be one of your bigger, home run threats. First off, what does a 3-run homer or a home run do in the situation there? Nothing. Like, it gives you run support, sure, but you need just 1 run. You need 1 run with this pitching staff. I trust Brandon Stone to go back out there and shove. The problem is, like, in that situation, you need to be like playing small ball, getting these guys over. But the way this team is constructed, I don't think lends itself to that method, right? Because of the way it's fine to give him the green light if you want to, Paul. But the problem is I don't like what he had to say, like, let KJ swing and try to hit one out or hit one in the gap. That is the problem right there. That is the problem. Because you can't – go ahead.
No, because the other thing, again, like KJ does – because he swung at a ball. Like, that's the other thing.
That's
he
the other
swung
problem.
At a ball.
He would have been on base.
I think if it was a 3-0 cookie and he just kind of missed it, which is the other thing of, like, he's young, man. He doesn't have the game experience. Like, he's a young player who wants to come up in the big moment. So as soon as you gave him that green light, unless Rittenauer threw it 55 feet or threw it over his head, he was swinging.
Yeah,
100%. He had made up in his mind pre-pitch he was swinging.
And don't forget, South Carolina doesn't take walks; they earn walks.
They earn them.
Don't forget that they don't take walks. They don't take walks. So that was never happening last night. Like, that's where all these problems stem from. Is it's I hate to say it's the silly mentality of you're doing yourself a disservice by not taking ball 4 there. I just don't. A guy that was it's different. If the guy's pumping the strike zone all night, then swing. But man, the guy was not pumping the strike zone. Half his pitches were balls. So you got a 50-50 chance there to take a ball 4, and it would be 2 on with nobody out. You have Lozama up in that situation. I think I'm bunting right there, especially Logan Sutter had an awful night, but I trust South Carolina's home run leader to put the ball in the air. And honestly, at that point, Florida's probably playing infield.
Florida's walking them. Florida's 100% walking.
They would walk them to set the double play, and I think they play double play depth after that to try and get it. But even a ground ball that's hit hard enough, like the one that Harmon ended up hitting, that's probably a run. In all honesty, if Harmon's moving down the line, so this part gets kind of lost because it didn't end up really mattering. But okay, so Logan Sutter works the walk, and then I think Sully goes out to talk to Rittenauer, and then we pinch run Jameson for Sutter. That was another curious.
I don't understand why you do that, because if you go, it did go to extras. And then it comes back up. Your home run leader, who again, because then it's like, well, are they going to hit home runs or are they not? But the guy who leads your team probably in home run or does lead your team in home runs, you take him out of the game when his run doesn't matter. I mean,
that's the thing.
In the grand scheme, like, of course you want to add as many runs because Florida has the last at bat.
But there's no guarantees. You just need 1 run. You just need 1 run. And this team made it so complicated last night to where they came up empty. And honestly, in that situation, deservedly so, because you did yourself a disservice swinging at that 3-0 pitch. And especially after Craddock gets plunked on the first pitch and the guy hadn't hit the strike zone yet that inning, you have to take a pitch there. I don't care that it goes against Paul's philosophy or whatever, man. Take the freaking walk and you got 2 on and nobody out. And then you get your big boys up. The guys that you paid, these guys, Logan Sutter and Ethan Lozama, had like a combined close to 30 home runs last year coming in from the transfer portal. It is mind-boggling to me that, and honestly, here's the other thing. You want to hear the crazy part, Ethan? So Craddock gets hit by that pitch. Let's say Scobie does take the walk. Then let's say the situation plays out exactly as it did in the game. Pass ball, both runners move into scoring position with nobody out. Lozama hits a fly ball to left field. I can't remember how deep it was, but that probably gets a run in. So, yeah, does that make you feel a little bit more want to go insane when you hear they literally had a run in their pocket last night, essentially?
My exact text to Jack last night, folks, was that KJ Scobie 3-0 swing is going to live rent-free in my head the entire season unless this team goes on a run here in the conference at some point. It's you know, we're not to the halfway point of the season yet, I don't think. But this is just bad coaching, man. And I am not one to put the blame on coaching and you know, call for firings and all that. I'm not calling for anybody to be fired today. But this is just bad coaching. It's just not. It was
definitely bad.
It's overcomplicated. It defies logic at times, and it's frustrating. And you know, I think this, you know, to transition to the pitching, like those dudes threw so well last night. Like
it was
Josh Gunther was incredible. Alex Valentine, who did not have his good stuff last night, freaking battled his butt off to get you 4 outs.
You see, I had somebody reply to my mentions last night. Somebody said, "Did he just cartwheel off the mound?"
If he did, I did not.
He did. So what happened was, you know how fired up that guy gets.
Oh yeah.
He pumped his fist, he threw his fist out like he was gonna punch thin air, and he almost tripped coming off the mound. So, all right, let's get into the pitching.
Yeah,
I've had enough talking about that situation. Again, it was just a bad situation last night that you couldn't score a run there, and it stinks more because your pitching was so brilliant last night. And Brandon Stone,
they were incredible.
Brandon Stone should not take the loss there. I don't care. He should not be the one losing that game. So Josh Gunther was incredible last night. He gives up no runs, no hits. He was pitching a no-hitter into the 7th inning before Paul Maneri took him out. And honestly, I agree with taking him out because
same.
If you're winning 5-0, let him ride it out. Let him ride it out. He's built up his pitch count enough, I think, to go 120 pitches maybe. But I'm okay with taking him out because it's a 0-0 game, and he's going to come out with a no decision. But I like it because you got your horses ready in the bullpen to shut this thing down. Yep. It's more important to win the game than to pitch a no hitter. That's my.
I was watching the game on the couch with my wife last night, and when Josh came out, she turned to me and goes, "Is that the right call?" I was like, "Yeah." I think in this situation, it was, like you said, it was tight. A lot of those pitches were high effort, high intensity. And that 94 probably felt like 110 to him, you know, with the way that game was going. So I absolutely thought it was the right move. He threw incredible. That umpire was a little shaky on the broadcast.
Yeah, that ump was not good last night. There were a lot of bad calls either way.
Yeah, exactly. No, there was one where Sully was losing his mind in the dugout, and I was like, he had every right to, because that one was right down Broad Street. But yeah, I mean, you know, so that's not to explain away the 8 walks, the 10 free passes from last night. But either way, the guys were great. Josh had 5 strikeouts, 7 flyouts, 7 groundouts. Just an absolute mastery of what he was doing on the mound. And like I said, Alex didn't have his best stuff, but he grinded. He got you 3 outs. And then Brandon Stone, I thought was really freaking good, man. I thought he was fantastic. I feel for those three, man, because like I said, I mean, Gunther's obviously done for the weekend. Stone's definitely down today. Maybe Valentin can come in and get you 3 outs if you have a lead in the night tonight. But he threw 25 pitches. That's probably on the
They're probably not throwing today, and we're gonna get to Saturday and Sunday in a moment here and preview that. But yeah, Valentin was good last night. He did not have his best stuff. Walked 2 guys, but he only threw 12 strikes last night. That's not great.
Yeah,
but,
it was rough.
But it's an adventure with him on the mound, man. And he got into a bases loaded jam in the 7th and then got out of it. But and then Stone, I feel for him, man. Really, the mistake was the leadoff double to begin the 10th. And I think in that situation, it's just a good hit down the line. Maybe Dawson Harmon dives for that ball, knocks it down, but he didn't. And then that really set up Florida to where they laid down the bunt. You intentionally walk a guy. You intentionally walk the next guy to try to set up the double play. Then you bunt, and then you intentionally walk in. Because, again, the runners on second and first don't even matter. It's literally just the runner at third. And the throw home from Tyler Bach on that sac fly, I thought it was actually a good throw. I mean, maybe you want it there on a line, but the one hopper was right there. The other big reaction piece, it's not as big as the 3-0 pitch. The other big reaction piece is Talmadge LeCroy. You could speak better to this, but Talmadge looked like he was really out of position on that play and I think maybe it had to do with the throw, but I think him going in front of the plate, if he had caught the ball, he's got to come all the way back around. For you, those guys watching live, think of the plate is right in front of you here. He's going onto the grass in front of the plate, and he's going to get that ball, and he doesn't even get the ball. First off, it hit his face actually last night on the bounce.
Yeah.
But if he gets that in his glove, he's got to come all the way back and make the tag on the guy. And there was enough time, I think, to potentially do so. But he put himself in a tougher position last night. And I don't know exactly what the rules are with the whole blocking the plate thing and whatnot, but that's a play you got to make if you're South Carolina, man. And Talmadge has been pretty good about making those plays at the plate. So I was a little surprised last night. But yeah, man, if he gets that ball, makes that tag, I mean, they're going to the 11th inning with a lot of juice there. And it's just unfortunate that that's the way the game ended last night, because you played well otherwise. Your defense was great. You made a lot of great plays in the field all night. Dawson Harmon made some nice plays over at third.
He did.
Your offense stunk, but, I mean, it's not and again, with the offense, you were putting the ball in play. It just wasn't finding the holes. So what do you think of that play last night to kind of end the game there with the play at the plate?
Yeah, so as an outfielder, you're taught long hop, no hop. So you are shooting for either you get it there on the fly, or you are trying to get a long easy hop that the catcher can read, that then he can catch and make the tag. What Talmadge did, and again, he's trying to get to the ball as quick as possible so he can make a tag. I understand what he was doing. But what he did by that, he made what would normally be a longer hop that he could read and make the tag. He cut it down. He made a short hop on himself, which is why it pops up and hits him in the face, because Bach's doing what he's taught and trying to get it there. And it ends up being it would have, because I that's why I was on my phone. I was trying to see if I could find a still of where the ball bounced at. It bounced right after the cut of the grass, bounced right on the edge of the dirt. Because I almost thought it might have hit the lip, and that's why it had such a high bounce on it. But anyways, Talmadge created a harder throw or a harder receive of the throw by trying to cut it off, because again, it ended up short hopping him, and it just, like I said, just skipped up and got him on the forehead or the helmet or whatever it was. So I know Tyler Bach doesn't have he does have Jackie Bradley's arm out there, by any stretch of the imagination. But, for all things considered, I thought he made a really good play. Again, that was Florida's leadoff guy on third base. It wasn't like it was it wasn't like they had Carson Bowen out there at third base on that last one. Because I think if anyone else in the starting lineup for them was on third base, if Talmadge plays that normal, I think they're out. I think Florida
so.
I think Florida having Kyle Jones on third base there really won them the game, because that was as good as Tyler could have made it happen. So yeah, man, it's it's
a tough
we've
one,
been
man.
talking. Yeah, I mean, we were talking the game for over 30 minutes now, and it's just, it doesn't get any easier. It's just that is a tough loss for these guys, and I feel for that clubhouse who had a good week last week until they lost to Citadel.
That really I think killed the vibe heading into this series.
And I think this team finds these. I think what we're learning about this team is that the highs can be extremely high, because I think the staff is good. I think they've got a good pitching staff this year. So hat tip to Terry Rooney. I was very critical of Coach Rooney of the approach last year and what was going on and everything. I think this staff has thrown well this year, and I think the highs of this staff are very high. I just think this offense, and I don't know if we were going to talk about it today. Maybe we'll save this for our stream next Thursday. The amount of money you've paid for this roster.
We're gonna save it for next Thursday.
Yeah.
Because there was a post that came out the other day. South Carolina spent a lot. Well, I think this was for the fiscal year of 25, though. So yes. I got to look at the post, but I'm not sure if it was necessarily for. I'm assuming it was for the off season of 25.
Yeah, we'll get. That was my understanding. I got to read it a little bit further too, because like I said, I was all getting ready to talk about it, and then last night happened, and I'm like, all right, we'll probably save this for Thursday. But all that to say, the amount of money you've spent on this roster, it's got to be more consistent at the plate. This is just I think you just like something just has to change, and nothing's. It is a couple good games, real stinkers, couple good games, real stinkers, and it's just there's got to be better footing somewhere, and I don't know where that comes in, but
tough. Before we get into the rest of this weekend, real quick, Clint Hammond of CMG Home Loans is our presenting sponsor. As always, if you're in the market to buy a home, give him a call, 803-422-6797. NMLS number is 71597, or go to clinthammond.com for more info. He will get you squared away, helping you out, buy that home you've always wanted. It could be a very complicated process, but that's where a guy like him with 20-plus years of experience comes in. He's also a lifelong Gamecock fan, longtime supporter of Gamecock Central. So you're in the right hands with a guy like Clint here. So like I said, give him a call, 803-422-6797. All his other info is above us here on screen if you're watching live right now. Thank you, Clint. As always, all right, I'm going to ask just a simple question here. Game 2 today, 6:30 p.m. first pitch. Amp Phillips going up against Aiden King. And then tomorrow it's TBA for South Carolina versus Cooper Walls. Look, last night was your best chance to win, I think. If you want to win this series, you had to probably win last night. At this point, I think you're kind of playing just to not get swept. It's kind of a crazy thing to say with 2 games to go, but I'm just not bought in on this offense right now. So I'll ask this. Amp going tonight, I think, let's say he goes 5 innings and he gives up a few, maybe he's pitching well and doesn't give anything. But what is the plan of approach with no Valentine, no Stone tonight? What do you do to piece it together if you're trying to get a win tonight after Amp Phillips is out of this game? And let's say let's say you're going into the 6th inning with him out of the game.
Go into the 6th inning. I would probably, depends on because now one thing
situation's a big thing too, because it's like, do you want to bring the lefty righty matchup? But
yeah, because I was going to say that because Florida showed last night, man, they guys. Yeah, they play matchups. Valentine came in and they pinch hit 3 right-handed batters right away. And they're like, we will take what happens the rest of the game, and we'll have these righties face Brandon Stone, and Brandon Stone mowed through them. But it's clear that Sully has his matchups he likes. So all of that to say, I mean, of the guys right now,
like let me rephrase the question. It's not so much like what situation do you bring these guys in? The question is more so, okay, which guys are actually viable options that you want to bring in? Because let's assume Valentine's going to be good to go for tomorrow. He'll be good to go for Sunday. I would think with 25 pitches, you got to be able to throw him another.
I think Valentine is good today if you have a lead in the ninth. I think if you have a lead in the ninth, Alex Valentine will throw the ninth. If not, he is down today. I don't think there's any other situation he pitches today.
And I don't know about Stone. Well, I think that's a more so like a situation.
He's done till Sunday, I think.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
He's definitely done today. But I think if it's a situation where it's like if it's a lead in the ninth inning and Valentine's already down, I'd go with Stone. But I will ask, who do you want to see after Phillips? If you have to go, 4 more innings of the 6th through the 9th, who are you putting in there to piece it together?
Now I have a question for you.
Yes.
How does the travel rosters work these days?
So I think they brought. It's weird because I thought you can't bring everybody. But
that's always been my understanding. But
everybody
dugout looked full.
Everybody was there last night. So they even brought Jake McCoy, who's
that dugout was full.
That dugout was full. So you got a full. That's the other thing that's nice about last night is that yes, you used your best arms, but you only used 2 bullpen arms. So you have a pretty full bullpen these next 2 games if you want to use it that way.
I mean, if I'm piecing together, it is probably a combination of Hudson Lee, Prisco, and Russell. I mean, those are probably the 3 guys I'm looking at.
I agree. I would maybe throw Cooper Marks. I think that's another decent arm.
Yeah, I mean, now because here's the thing, and this is why I asked about who traveled. Alex Philpott.
Yeah. You could.
He didn't throw a full inning on Wednesday. Is Alex Philpott your first arm out of the pen today? That is.
I think it depends on the situation, man.
It's interesting. Because again, you're pitching, you're trying to win the game. It's 4-3 or 5-5, whatever. It's a back and forth game.
Yeah.
Is Alex Philpott a part of your equation this weekend? Because if he is, then if Alex Philpott is a part of your calculation at any point this weekend, then I'm also not afraid to go Riley Goodman for an inning today.
That's a good point. I forgot about Goodman because he's not in the rotation this weekend.
Exactly. We're TBA
on that one.
So it's like if Philpott is a part of your equation for this weekend in any way, shape, or form, then I'm not afraid to go to Riley Goodman if it's a close game and I need a few innings.
But here's what do you do tomorrow? Well, I know you're not.
Tomorrow would just be straight bullpen. You go Philpott for 2. You go
Hold on.
Yeah.
We have not talked about this game, and I don't think we're going to because it was just I didn't even get to watch the game really. But the Citadel game on Tuesday was a disaster. That was your bullpen game right there, and it blew up in your face. So
it blew up in your face because now granted, a guy I'm talking about maybe pitching this weekend. You got in the hole because the 2 guys who hadn't pitched at all this year gave up home runs.
That's
you
true.
You got down in a 3-0. Because I watched. You were lucky not to watch that game. I watched a big majority of that game. You got down early because Philpott and Horwitz gave up tanks early. So I think your actual bullpen guys didn't throw bad. It kind of the wheels came off a little bit at the end with Elijah. And I forgot who Elijah.
Greg Waugh. I did watch the 8th and 9th inning. Greg Waugh was rough, man.
So it came, that's why he ain't throwing this weekend if I can help it.
But if you're in a bullpen game, that's the thing.
Well, and this is where like you hope the Parker Merlot of last year can show up and get you some innings. So, but to answer your initial question, today, like I said, I'm looking at Lee, Russell, Prisco. That's kind of my three I'm looking at. But if tomorrow is really open, and that's why Paul left his TBA. I truly think that's why Coach left his TBA. I think Riley Goodman's a factor today if it's a close game. I think Goodman's a factor because you gotta get to a rubber game. You need to, if you have a chance to win this game, you win this game. You do not worry about trying to be set up for tomorrow.
And here's the other thing: Ant Phillips is on the mound today. He is, before Gunther shoved last night, I would say he's your best pitcher. This is, I think, why you have him on Saturdays, because you either have a chance to win the series or you're going to try to get to a game 3. So I say all this because, look, I said, like, okay, what do you do after Phillips? But the bigger question is, how long is Phillips going tonight? I think tonight is either going to be
some length.
It's either going to be a case of what we've seen a few times now, where he gives up a run and then he pitches 6 great innings, or we're going to get this outing where he gives up 3 or 4 runs and is out of the game after like 4 to 5 innings. You're really hoping he can pitch well up tonight. You need. It's funny to say you need length out of him because you got a really good performance from your staff last night without having to use a ton of arms. But you really, because TBA's tomorrow, and even if it was Riley Goodman tomorrow, I would still say you need length today because you're going to have to use your bullpen a lot tomorrow anyway with Goodman on the mound, but he's not on the mound. So I like this idea of piggybacking potentially between Phillips and Goodman, but also like you said, maybe you just go with these other guys. I like Prisco. And honestly, man, another guy I wouldn't rule out potentially this weekend. I think he only threw about 2 innings the other day out of relief. I like Connor Ciccoli, man. I think that's another guy that's where you could go tomorrow, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Give him the start on the mound tomorrow. Let him go 2 innings. And then piece it together from there. And then hopefully, because you wouldn't use Stone or Valentine, you can have those guys available essentially for the 8th and 9th. I think those guys would be 1-inning guys. But if you have it, like this is why last night was such a big game, because I can't fathom that. They gave up 2 hits and Florida made 3 errors and you did not score a single run. You lost that game last night when Florida had more errors than hits and runs combined. That's inexcusable. And I don't know. I think they really do they got to find a way to win this game today. So
with the pitching, and we're talking about the pitching, is there anything you do offensively today?
Change offensively?
Yeah.
And I know Michael Ray Lynn chimes in and says, I'm just begging Minari to keep the same lineup for consecutive games. I don't even know if the lineup thing it matters to some extent, but I don't think it's really, because look, you're playing the best guys, and if some guys are hot, sure, but after last night, I don't think anything's off the table in terms of changes. Let's see what the lineup. So the lineup last night, I'll read it off real quick. It was Bach, Lee Croy, Craddock, Scobie, Lazama, Sutter, Evans, Harmon, Hollins. I actually don't think it was a terrible lineup. I like Craddock I like Craddock hitting probably. I hate to say it. I think I would honestly move him down maybe to like the 5 hole. Maybe I'd put if KJ really is your best hitter, I'd put KJ up in the 3 hole. I'd move Sutter up in this lineup. I would move Craddock down just a little bit because he really did not give you good at bats last night. And you're facing
it was tough.
A lot of those guys did not give you good at bats last night. Like 3 through 6 was just not good last night. I don't know honestly what you do. If there's any change I think I'd like to see. I'm just looking at this right now. I'm trying to think.
I have one, and you know who it is.
Go ahead. Go. Tell me what it is.
I want to see Eric Parker at third base.
Oh my God! Oh, I almost fell on my chair. Oh my God, man! What is up? Okay, tell me why.
Third base.
With that defense,
Dawson Harmon is in there to provide some power. He hit the home run on opening day, and since then, it has been a lot of strikeouts. It has been he takes these huge hacks. There's never an adjustment.
There was a adjustment, but then it was weird because he kind of eliminated the toe, the toe tap, where he brings his leg up. But then in the ninth inning last night, when I think maybe it was the ninth inning where he hit that ground ball, he brought his leg back up because I wish I had a good way to show it here.
Like
you know what I mean?
Even to that point, he's trying to find it, and he's pretty one-dimensional in that he's there to hit ball hard and
he's home run or strikeout. Let's just call it what it is. He's home run or strikeout with a lot of strikeouts,
and it hasn't been exactly. It's been a lot of strikeouts. I feel like Eric Parker is. I mean, he has some high school pedigree to him. He looked pretty good. You know, I mean, he's only gotten a handful of tries this season. I think he can provide a spark on the base paths, which you are pretty plotting at. You know, they brought up on the broadcast last night, South Carolina was 6 for 14 prior to Bach's stolen base last night. So they're 7 for 15 now. So they've been thrown out more than they've stolen.
But this is not the type of team that's going to steal bags.
And I guess that's my thing. I guess that's my thing is that you get someone else in there that can provide something else other than what's being provided. Honestly, I'm tired of seeing the strikeouts from Harmon and
I agree. I think I feel bad saying that too because I think I am staying at the Dawson Harmon fan club hotel here in Gainesville because his entire I walked in last night. His entire family's here, so
I want him to do good. I think maybe just giving him a breather.
He hasn't. So I'm gonna look at this roster. I'm gonna look at the stats real quick. I'm just gonna look and see if there's like I think the one change I'd make, I put someone else in the 3-hole. That's just my biggest change is putting someone else. I like Craddock a lot. He's a great player, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a rough start because the velocity is just so different for a lot of these guys. And this is what surprises me, that Logan Sutter was so late on. He looked lost at the plate last night.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's hit a lot of home runs, but I can imagine the Big Ten pitching is a lot different compared to what the SEC is throwing at him. And that's my biggest concern is the uptick in velocity, and guys are so late on a lot of pitches. So, I mean, they hit the ball hard last night. It's just, I mean, you also struck out 15 times. So
they tried to combat the velocity by swinging harder.
And that doesn't work. That's not
how you do it. You could see it with a couple of Scobie swings. You could see it. He made the adjustment. I think it was his second AB against Peterson, where he just blew 2 fastballs away, and it was like first swing hard, second swing harder, and it just KJ made a little bit of adjustment, but yeah, it felt like Sutter, Harmon. I actually thought Patrick Evans had some good ABs last night.
He it's good to see him back in the lineup there. I know he was back there on Tuesday, but it's good to see him back in there. I just think you need guys that are going, you got to score runs today. And to win this game today, I would say you got to score like 5 runs. And that's easier said than done against a guy that has not allowed a run yet this season over 3 starts or whatever. But yeah, you really need to go out there and score 5 runs today. So this is where I'm going to get into what we normally do at the end of the show. We usually give our weekend predictions or whatever. We obviously can't, right, give a full prediction. But what we can do is predict the rest of this weekend. So I'm going to go first here, Ethan, just to make it real simple. I think South Carolina loses 2 out of 3. I do think they will find a way to win one of these games. I actually don't think it's going to be tonight. I don't see them winning tonight. But I do. This is where I think this team is better than last year, because there were a lot of games last year where South Carolina got swept, and that was that. I do think this is a team capable of bouncing back and winning a game this weekend. But wins, look. And here's the rule of thumb always is, don't get swept on the road and win your series at home. So they would, to a T, be following that. But I think you feel rather disappointed if South Carolina loses this series, because it's like, man, you should have won last night. Like, you got great pitching, great defense, and your offense was a no-show. And today, I think just Aiden King's going to be tough to hit. And then tomorrow, you're piecing it together. But I think because Florida's already got this series won, I think and they're not throwing their best arm tomorrow, I think South Carolina's going to go out here and probably win on Sunday, and that would be nice. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Amp's going to give you a great chance tonight, I think. But there's also a possibility where it gives up like 3 runs, and that'd be that. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm also going to predict that we get one over these next 2 games, but I'm going to be a little different. I think they get one today.
Okay. I like it.
I think Florida used their horses out of the pen yesterday. And I wonder.
Sorry, not to cut you off. You're not seeing the Rittenauer guy. You're not seeing him.
No.
Probably not, because he threw like 40 plus pitches. I say that hypocritically, because it's like, well, how is Stone going to pitch? But I don't know. It's no guarantee that Stone pitches. But I don't think you're seeing Rittenauer.
Yeah, I think Barberry maybe can give them an inning. The lefty will come in. The lefty will pitch some today. But I was just curious, because Aiden King not giving up a run, an earned run, in his starts this year. So I just clicked on over. He's given up 8 runs in his last 2 games, but none of them have been earned, because we saw how bad that Florida defense is.
Yeah, that defense. Okay, that's good context right there.
Aiden King hasn't gotten out of the 3rd inning in his last 2 starts against Miami.
Okay, now we're cooking here, Ethan. I see.
So I'm now, he doesn't walk anybody. He doesn't walk people. It is strictly he seems to work long counts, and that Florida defense is absolutely atrocious.
I think honestly, man, that's the thing about last night, is that you did put the ball in play, and Florida made 3 errors. You can't necessarily bank on a team to make that many errors every game. It's like the Clemson series, where Clemson played awful defense game 1, and then games 2 and 3 they were so much better. I think this is a series here where you put the ball in play, and you got, who knows what happens, man. The worst thing you can do is get out. I mean, if you put the ball in play, so be it. I think that is your recipe. You want to talk about keys to winning this weekend? Put the ball in play.
Yep. So I think they find a way to win today. I think tomorrow's bullpen game, or whatever ends up being tomorrow's TBA, that's going to be a little bit hard for me to overcome, especially because the offense being as inconsistent. I don't think this team can win 9-7 game, or perfect example, the Vanderbilt LSU game last night, where Vanderbilt hit a walk-off home run to win 13-12. I don't see this offense being able to win those kind of games right now until they were able to show me that. So I think TBA on Sunday is I'm a little nervous about that, but I think they find a way to. I think they build off some stuff that happened with the decent ABs last night. I think they get to King early. They get to that Florida bullpen. That again, their 3 best arms had to be used last night. Their best arm is done for today for sure, because his highest pitch total in the season was 25 before throwing 44 last night.
Oh, he's done.
So yeah, he's done for today, possibly tomorrow. I think they find a way to get to that Florida bullpen today, and I think they win it. And then Sunday, I think Sunday turns into more of a slugfest that I don't know if we're going to be able to win.
No. So first pitch tonight is at 6:30 p.m. on SEC Network Plus. Gamecocks middle game of the series. Ant Phillips going up against Aiden King, and then tomorrow afternoon, first pitch at 1 p.m. on SEC Network Plus in Game 3 against Florida. So I know it's a little bit of a different stream here, but honestly, probably one of the more productive ones just because just a lot happened last night. And I actually kind of dig the 9:30 in the morning start time, honestly. We got a lot of people watching and appreciate all you guys tuning in. As always, I know it's tough, but this is what we're here for. We're here to talk about it, and hopefully we'll get better today and then tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But we'll be back to our normal Thursday slot next week. I will not be globe trotting around the world. I will be back home in Columbia midweek next week. So we'll see. But that's going to do it for us for now. So for Ethan Carter, I'm Jack Veltri. Appreciate you guys as always, and we will see you next week.